What's up, everybody? Welcome back to One More Guitar. Thank you for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you want to support the channel, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Alright, so today's video, I'm going to get into talking about how to play minor chords. This is the first lesson I've done in a while, and for anybody that's been following along, I apologize for that. Just got a little busy at the end of last year, but wanted to keep this going because, you know, if anybody's trying to learn, I definitely want to help you out. And now my nephew's playing too, so I want to help him out. So we're going to keep going with these lessons, and you know, hopefully I can get some people playing guitar that have never played before. So that's my goal, or at least to be able to help you out. So previously we've talked about, you know, the music alphabet, and we've talked about the major scale and how to create chords from the major scale, a few songs you could play with those chords. And I'll put a link up above to the lesson playlist. So if you want to, you know, start at the beginning, check that out, and you can get back to this point. But today what I want to do is just talk about some minor chords, and kind of talk about the differences of minor chords and major chords, and just kind of how that sounds. And then I'll show you how you can create minor chords from the chords you already know. And I'll show you 3 open minor chords that you can start playing right now. So let's get into this. Alright, before we take a look at how to actually make minor chords, I want to spend a second and talk about the difference between the way major chords sound and the way minor chords sound. Just so you get it in your head a little bit of what to expect when you play a minor chord. So let's take a look at the A major chord first. And I'm just going to play this, and I just want you to listen to the way it sounds. Just kind of absorb this for a second. Okay, you got that in your head? All right, now I'm going to play A minor, and I want you to pay attention to the way it sounds different, okay? Major, minor. Okay, I don't really want to use the words happy and sad, but that is the best way to describe it and the easiest way to understand it, I think. So if you listen to the A major chord, it sounds like a happy chord. If you listen to the A minor chord, it sounds like it's got a little more heaviness to it. So a lot of people associate that with sad. So minor chords are the sad chords, and major chords are the happy chords. And you can think about it like that just to kind of get an idea of the difference between the 2 chords. So let's take a look at another chord. We're going to do E major and E minor. Let's see if it kind of mimics the pattern we just saw. So here's E major. And here's E minor. Major. Minor. All right, and we'll do the same thing with the D chord. Let's do D major, and then D minor. So you can see this pattern holds true. The major chords sound happy, and the minor chords sound sad, if you want to think about it that way. You can also think darker or lighter, heavy, light, you know, stuff like that. That's just kind of a way to understand the difference between major and minor chords. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing, and then we'll go to the whiteboard and look at how to use the scale and the chords that we already know to make minor chords. All right, so I have the E chord here, and I go to E minor. You can see that my finger came off. Basically, I went from playing this note to this note. So that was a half of a step movement from an E major chord to an E minor chord. So to make any minor chord from a major chord, all you have to do is find one note and move it down a half of a step. Now it has to be the right note, and now let's go talk about which note is the right note to move. Alright, I've written the music alphabet out here for reference, and I've also written out the A major scale. If you don't know how I got the A major scale from the music alphabet, go back, check out some of the earlier lessons, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so what we're going to look at now is the A major chord. We can use the skip a note trick with the A major scale to find all of the notes in the A major chord. So how do we create the A minor chord? So remember, a major chord is made up of the first, the third, and the fifth note of the major scale. So to make a minor chord, what you do is you use the first, the flat third, and the fifth note of the major scale. So to get a minor chord, what you have to do is you have to flat the third note of the major scale. In this case, it's C sharp. So we want to flatten the C sharp note by 1/2 step. So if we look at the music alphabet here, that takes us down to a C note. So if we want to make the A minor chord, the notes we would use are A, C, and E. So notice that the one note in the middle changed, and the other two notes stayed the same. The way you note a minor chord is by placing a lowercase m beside it. So in this case we have A minor, and it's noted like this. Next, let's try E minor. I've written out the notes of the E major scale here, as well as the notes for the E major chord. So what we want to do is find the third note of the E major scale and flatten it 1/2 step. Let's clean that up. So we got to find the third note, which is G sharp, and flatten it 1/2 step to G. So the notes for our E minor chord are E, G, and B. And again, notice that the only note that changed was the middle note. It went down 1/2 step, that's it. The other notes are the same. Last, I want to try to find the notes of the D minor chord. So again, we have the D major scale and the notes of the D major chord. We find the third note, which is F sharp. We flatten it by 1/2 step, and that gives us F. So the notes for the D minor chord are D, F, and A. Again, I want to point out that the middle note is the only note that changed. D minor chord. Alright, so let's take a closer look at how you make these chords on guitar. So first, let's draw out the E major chord. So you've got the open E string, you've got the second fret of the A string, the second fret of the D string, and the first fret of the G string. Alright, if you remember from a minute ago, the note that we needed to flatten in the G major scale was G sharp. Well, if we look at the notes that we're playing for the E major chord, the G sharp is the note that we're fretting at the first fret on the G string. So to make the E minor chord, the notes that we need to play are E, G, and B. So to make the E minor chord from the E major chord, we're simply going to remove our finger off of the first fret of the G string and play the G string open. So we're going to have the open E string, we're going to have the second fret of the A string, the second fret of the D string, then we're going to have the open G string, the open B string, and the open E string. Alright, so now let's take a look at A minor. So for the A major chord, you have the open A string, the second fret of the D string, the second fret of the G string, the second fret of the B string. And you can play the open E string if you want to. So if you remember, the note that we need to flatten is C sharp. So let's see if we can figure out which of these notes is C sharp. Alright, so that's an E note, that's an A note, right here is the C sharp note. So we need to drop this down 1/2 step to make it a C note. To do that, we just move the note down 1 fret. And I'll show you this on the guitar in just a second, but I just wanted you to see it on the whiteboard. Alright, let's do one more. We'll do D minor. So we're going to start with the D major chord. This is just the open major chord that we've already learned. And the notes are D, F sharp, and A. And one thing I want to mention here while you're doing this, pay attention to where the root is in these shapes. It'll be helpful for you down the road. Okay, so we need to find the F sharp note and make it an F note. So if we look at this, we have an A note on the G string, we have the D note on the B string,
and on the E string we have the F sharp note. So just like the other chords, all we need to do is move the F sharp note down 1/2 step and it will give us the D minor chord. So we take this note and move it down like this. Okay, so what's the takeaway here? Well, we've learned that flattening the third note of any major chord will give you the minor version of that chord. So all you have to do is find the one note, and that's the third, and then move it down 1/2 step and you've got the minor version of the chord. Alright, so here's the A minor chord. We get the C note, the A note, and the E note. Next we have the E minor chord, so you're going to use the open E string here, and then you're going to have 2 on the A string and 2 on the D string. I like to use my middle and ring finger because it makes it easier to switch to other chords for me. And last we have the D minor chord. We have the F note, the D note, and the A note. Alright, remember for this one that you do not want to play the open E or the open A string, but you do want to play the open D string.
Alright, so hopefully now you get a sense of the difference between the way major chords sound and the way minor chords sound, and you have an idea of how to create minor chords from major chords, and you've got these 3 chords that I've shown you here to help you, start practicing this and get a sense of it. So I hope this was helpful to you. I want to do one more thing here. The last time I did a chords video, I put out a video right after it playing a few songs that use those chords, and I wanted to keep doing that, but you never really know what people are listening to or what they want to play, so just doing 3 songs might not have been that helpful. And also, there's been a lot of buzz about copyright stuff going on with YouTube right now, and so I think I'm just going to lay back on that for a minute, and I'm just going to put up a list of songs that I know use only open, major, and minor chords that you can start playing with if you're interested. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is definitely not a comprehensive list. These are just songs that I can think of that I know for sure don't use chords that you don't know yet, or at least not for my videos, right? So, and I hope that's helpful to you. Please go out and try to learn some of these songs if you're interested in them, or find songs that use minor chords and just start playing around with it. That's just the easiest way to learn something, is just go do it. So, like I said, I hope this was helpful to you, and until next time, take it easy and keep playing.